Hello? Yes, send them in. Welcome, take a seat. I've been expecting you. Welcome back to another episode of
Makeup with Athena.
Starring me, Athena. I think you would have gotten that. Today, we are going to be doing an Office Siren makeup tutorial. And I know that the Office Siren and the Office Siren aesthetic has been making its go-arounds for over a year now. And it's been very interesting to see. I think it's allowed a lot of people to find confidence in corporate wear. Also, it's gotten a few people fired for wearing like 3-inch mini skirts to the office, so please don't do that. Upon doing my research, and by research I mean looking at a bunch of TikToks, YouTube Reels, what have you, I've noticed a few commonalities with this trend. And what I see is gray smoky eyeshadow, eyeliner above and below the eyes, a neutral lip, and I've also noticed a lot of kind of sleek hairstyles, but the one thing that I keep seeing is the glasses. And to me, these glasses are kind of Bayonetta-esque in a way, and I really like them. So I did get a few pairs for this video specifically, and this is one of them, and I think that this is the most reminiscent. These are prescription, so I can't wear them that long, but I do think that they add to the look. I feel like this definitely is giving like the secretary or maybe even the CEO just like typing and looking at you and being like, but the Office Siren is definitely something that I wonder about the origins. I don't know if it's because more people are getting office jobs or less people are. I don't know if the return to office after the work from home era has people kind of having to put that fantasy lens on it just so they can get through the day. I have a lot of thoughts about it and I don't really know where to place them. Either way, I think that this is a beautiful look and I'm going to do it in a way that is totally appropriate for the office and something you can easily follow along. So let's get started. So we're gonna start the same as usual with a primer. This is one of those trends that I feel like walks a fine line, and really depending on how you look at it, it is either seen in the lens of objectification or empowerment. And I feel like that's a lot of things, especially with trends that deal with like femininity and sensuality and all of those things. I think that you can view it on either side of that lens. And I think that if certain styles make you happy, then that is the things that you should wear and do. However, I do know that some people have definitely gotten in trouble by embodying this trend. I think dress codes in the workplace are a little bit too strict most of the times, especially ones that don't let you wear things like jeans or even just nice shirts. I don't think everyone should have to be in a suit all the time, but also I think people showing up in like lingerie and a mini skirt, maybe not for the office. Honestly, it depends what office you work in, but if your office has a clear policy against it, don't do that. So we have our face primed, and now we're going to do concealer on our upper eyes. We will be doing concealer on our lower eyes, but this is one of those looks that needs the very bright concealer. So I'm just gonna dot it on there. This is a look I've noticed has thinner eyebrows. So while we are not going to be cutting our eyebrows and tweezing them, we will be kind of outlining a thinner shape. You can see the difference right there. I am not completely blocking them out, but we are going in with a super light concealer and just blocking out a good amount of them. We're going to start with the eyeshadow first, and the eyeshadow is a very smoky silver. That means we are going to pack on a black shadow first, right here. We are going to go in with some eyeliner, but we are going to start with the black shadow, and we're just going to kind of dot it all along right where our lash line is. And we don't want to smoke this out too dark because it really is a daytime look. I've also noticed that it's very angular. It kind of goes like this. So there we go. And this look is a little bit messy. It's a little bit disheveled. It almost is reminiscent of like something you might see at a nightclub. It doesn't have to be too neat right now. We are going to go back and clean this up, but you can see the difference between this eye when it's smudged versus this one. So after we have this, we are going to go in with a shimmery silver color. So we are just going to take this silver color and sweep it on. And we're just going nice and light. And it should look like this at this point. We are going to add a little bit more smudgy black to this. But we will still be adding eyeliner, so we don't need to go too heavy on that. And we are going to take a shimmery white, and we are going to put it all the way at the brow bone. And you can leave a little bit of that silver on the brush. So this is without the liner, of course. I like to use a much lighter concealer on the tops of my eyes than on the bottom. And we're just going to go in with 2 dots on each side. And I do this because it does blend out. We're going to take a beauty blender and we want to kind of cut it right here and bring it up. And I know what you're thinking. Who has the time to do this in the morning before going to your office job? And honestly, I don't know. I've never had an office job. So I don't know if this would be practical. I do know some people that have office jobs that like to do makeup beforehand. I know I was definitely somebody in college with 8 a.m. classes that would do a full face and hair and outfit before class. I don't think that if I went back to finish my degree, I would do that now. I still might, but it would not be for an 8 a.m. class. So it looks super light right now, but I promise that it will not look as light, but you do want it to be kind of frosty. This is one of those early 2000s looks, so the eyes are gonna be kind of like shimmery and frosty. And we're just gonna bring this everywhere and lightly pat it in. But we are just going in, especially over those concealed parts above the brow. We do not want to leave it that light. That is how we get flashback. Not like there's going to be flash pictures taken at the office, but honestly, you never know. And we are going to blend this down the neck. So the Office Siren look definitely has a cool tone to it, and that's what we're gonna do. So I've noticed that any contour I use, even something like this, is still too warm. But I found that a blonde eyebrow pencil actually works really well for a contour for my face color. We are going to take a little bit right in our finger, and we are going to put in those cheekbones. And you can take that, and I have this brush on hand. It is a dense blending brush. And you're just going to brush it outwards. And you want these cheekbones to sit pretty high. So you can see the difference already from here to here. You want everything to be snatched up. And we're going to continue taking it and dotting it along the forehead. And we're just going to use very small circular motions to kind of buff that out. And I also noticed this is a lot more buildable than most cream contours. Right along your cheekbones. And then blend it out and back in. And that is good for the cheekbones. I like to put some right here. And I am so sorry, I am not flipping you guys off, I promise. And you just buff it in. This stuff blends really well. And that is the face part of the contour. But we actually are going to contour our nose as well. We're just going to go underneath right here. We're also going to go and draw a straight line from here all the way down. And we're going to do it on the other side as well. And we're also going to put some on the corners of our nose, as well as blending this out. Not adding any more to the brush while we're still blending. So once you have that, you're just going to take your brush and you're going to do a straight line across. We're going to go back in with some bright highlight, and I like to put it right underneath where the contour is, like 2 dots. I like to put 1 dot on my chin and the absolute teeniest, tiniest dot on your nose, and then a few teeny tiny dots on the bridge of your nose. And for the nose, we're going to take the same brush that you just did the contour with and just very gently kind of pat it in. And this should give that contoured nose a little bit more dimension. And be gentle with it because you don't want it to look too intense. You want it to look a little bit more natural. Sometimes an intense look can look great on camera, but not so great in real life. And we're going to take the same brush and just fill in all that space. And you can see how that kind of creates like a soft look. I'm going to do that on the chin and on the other side as well. So moving on to blush, I'm going to be using an eyeshadow for blush because this is a cool toned look, which means that it lends itself to cool toned blushes, and I don't own any of those as of right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 colors right here. They're super popular on my palette for a good reason. And I'm going to mix them. So it's like kind of a pink mixed with a lilac. And this is the color that you get. And we are just going to very gently put it high up on the cheekbone, underneath the eye. And you can see the type of blush that creates. So we are also going to bring it all the way up. It's kind of a frosty blush. There we are. Now we can move on to the eyebrows. I'm going to be using a basically identical one of what I used for contour, except this one actually matches my eyebrow color. And I'm going to go in with my smallest brush. This is a tiny paintbrush because if we're going to get our brows thin, we want to use a smaller brush. And we are just going to go in little strokes, little feather-light strokes. We don't want to put it anywhere where there's concealer because that would ruin the illusion of having thinner brows. So we're just doing tiny hair strokes. And this may not look super thin, but compared to what my eyebrows looked like at the beginning of the video, this is quite a bit thinner. All of the eyeliner I've seen is winged, but it is a small wing. It is not huge. It's not like something I normally do. We're going to go thin with this, so then we can go in with a powder later. But we're going to start at the beginning of our eye. And we're going to bring it all the way till the end. And then after we do that, we're going to connect the wing. So I'm going to do this on both sides just to get it even. And then we're going to do the wing. So now we have both of our eyes lined. We are going to do that tiny little wing. And I am being so careful not to blow it out of proportion, not to do too big of a wing because the urge is there. As you can see, they're very small. This one's a little bit smaller, so I will have to even it out. And I know that that's a dangerous game. There we go. So we have those, but what we're actually going to do is we are going to take a shadow and we're going to use the same eyebrow, the same brush we used for the eyebrows. And we are going to connect to the bottom, and we're going to bring it all the way to the front as well. Because that is the thing about this look, it brings it all the way around. So you can see just what the top versus the top and bottom look like. And we're actually going to, there's this little wing that they do on the other side. We really want it to be like smoky. And we are going to take this brush and just brush it out. We're going to take a little brush and go on the edge. And then brush that in. I'm going to take this and brush underneath. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So after cleaning this brush off, we are going to do the lips. And the lips are kind of a muted, like, nude, and that means a brown lip liner, which I do not have. This would be the closest color that I have. It's kind of that color, but it's not exactly as cool as I'd want it to be. So we are going to go in with this color right here. It's a little bit more of a brown. We're going to put that on, and we're going to use that as lip liner. One day I'm going to look back and see that I was using eyeshadow as lip liner, but today's not that day. So we have no lipstick on yet, and we are actually going to be using a gloss. I really love this color a lot. And although this is a little bit darker, I still feel like this fits the vibe. I also feel like that this look, I feel like needs some beauty marks. So we're gonna go in with some. I'm gonna put one right by my eye right here. We're gonna put one down here as well. And for the highlight, we're gonna keep it really subtle with this it's very shimmery. And we're just going to put it on our brush and just sweep it a few times. Put a little bit up here, a little bit here, and a little bit here. I like to put a little bit of blush on my chest whenever I'm wearing an outfit that you can see my chest. And we're not going to put any in the corners of the eyes because we want these to stay dark. All right, so we're gonna do lashes and mascara. I'm priming my lashes. So we are going in with mascara, and then I finally got magnetic glue and magnetic lashes all in one. I don't have to just use back and forth, which is really good. We're just gonna put on the mascara. So that is our lashes so far, but now we get to put on our lashes. So this is magnetic lash glue, and you're going to want to use it like an eyeliner. And you just put a full strip on your eye, but you're gonna put it all the way on. And you're going to let it get just a tiny bit tacky. And I've heard that 2 coats are best for this, so that's what we're going to do. But the good news is that since we already have on eyeliner, this is going to be pretty much just another layer of eyeliner. When you have a look that does not have eyeliner, then it becomes very difficult to get away with this. but you're just going to take it and press. You want to make sure both corners are where they need to be. And you just squeeze them into your natural lashes. The difference is subtle, but I still feel like it makes a big difference in terms of this look. So now we're going to put the other one on. Now there is a brand of magnetic lashes that don't use glue at all. I have tried them, I do like them, and I don't know where to find them again. They were honestly some of the coolest ones I have used. I am slightly allergic to adhesive, so whenever I put these on, the magnetic ones are a lot better because it relies a lot less on any sort of glues and a lot more on metal. But the ones that don't use any sort of adhesives at all are my favorite. They do take like 20 minutes to put on though. So this is the outfit. It is a silk button down and some kind of khaki pants, as well as some little heeled boots. And unfortunately, due to my frame and my room size, this is the best I can capture it all together. But this is the outfit. And I really do think that the glasses pull it all together, although I do have to take them off because they're starting to hurt my eyes. I really like this makeup look, and honestly, for one of the first times ever, I don't think I would change a thing about it. So honestly, I think it could probably be done a lot quicker if you're not filming it. Would I do this every day? No, because I don't have an office job. But with this makeup look and outfit style, you can safely bet that your office siren aesthetic is not going to land you in deep water. Oh, one more thing. Thanks for stopping by my office. I'm really glad we had this chat. I hope you have a day just as beautiful as you are. Let's circle back to this next time. Bye. Cheers.